Hello and welcome to Enough, Stop Bullying in El Paso County. The show is dedicated to putting an end to bullying. I launched the effort to stand up to bullying 2 years ago when I noticed an increase in the number of bullying incidents coming into our office. Whether you have children or not, you should be concerned. Every 7 minutes a child is bullied on a school playground, and over 85% of those instances occur without any intervention. We can make a difference. Here's what we've done so far. In 2010, the El Paso County Sheriff's Office Anti-Bullying Coalition was formed. Their mission? To educate the community on the growing dangers of bullying and to spread the message that bullying will not be tolerated. In 2011, El Paso County Commissioners signed a proclamation proclaiming El Paso County to be a bully-free zone. We've partnered with local school districts and organizations to strengthen our efforts, and now we're hitting the airwaves with the help of the El Paso School District and KTSM News Channel 9.
Bullying stories are everywhere. Just about everybody has experienced bullying in one form or another.
It can be verbal, like name-calling, teasing, or social, like spreading rumors, or physical, and that could involve hitting, punching, shoving.
Bullying at school can happen peer-to-peer, older kids to younger ones, or in some cases a teacher, either as a victim or a culprit.
With today's technology, the problem has now crossed virtual borders. Cyberbullying, it's a serious problem that can cause long-term damage to victims and to bullies.
Bullying has extended beyond the classroom to our streets and online. Join us in our effort to live beyond hate and take a stand.
Hello and welcome to the third episode of Enough. We hope that you've been enjoying the series that we've been bringing to you with the help of EPISD and KTSM. Today we have the most important aspect to help us prevent bullying. We have parents. Parents are the most crucial role in helping us to prevent the epidemic of bullying. Hello and welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us today. I have several questions for you all. Of course, you all are parents. You all have different age group kids, young males, young females, teenagers, all that good stuff. What is bullying to you all?
Bullying for me means that we're kind of getting away from our manners and just forgetting that people have feelings and not treating each other right. Everybody knows how to act in certain situations, but there's times where nobody's looking. We need to remember to still keep that intact. You know, even when people aren't looking, that integrity.
You know, one of the things that they say that it all begins at home. Bullying is spreading like wildfire through all our schools and stuff like that. Do you think parents should kind of stand up and take responsibility for that? I mean, is this something that we look back and blame the parents for?
I don't think we blame the parents, but I definitely do think the parents need to be on top of their kids every single day. What happened at school? How was your day? Did anything happen? And I also think the parents need to keep themselves informed of district policy, depending on what district their kid attends. They have all their policies regarding bullying on their websites, and we need to keep ourselves informed of how they're supposed to handle it, what they're supposed to do, and what we're supposed to do.
That's a good point. You know, you bring up several points in your response. One of the things is that a lot of us parents, I mean, that whole 8 to 5 is a thing of the past. You know, I mean, most parents start their day at 6 o'clock in the morning, don't get home till 6 o'clock. We've gone through the latch lock kid syndrome. We've gone through all of this. People's schedules are becoming so busy that parents don't really have time to actually sit down and talk to their kids. How do you as parents make time through, I mean, I know everybody here and you guys have a hectic schedule, so how do you all make time to talk to your kids?
I make time when we're sitting at the dinner table. When we sit down and eat, I ask them, how was your day? What did you do today? Did you have any problems in school? And they open up, and it's something that we make it mandatory. We all sit at the table. We all sit there and discuss how our day went. That way I know what's going on with them at school. If my son had a problem at school, then I know about it right there and then. If my daughter had a problem when she was in school, I knew about it and I would take care of it.
Also driving. We spend a lot of time driving our kids from here to there. that's a perfect opportunity to talk to your kids because everybody's there.
That's a good point. I mean, everybody brings up soccer moms and soccer dads, and actually that's a perfect time to talk to your kids and make sure that everything is going good, because it's more of a relaxed atmosphere as you're driving to the game or driving to school. Instead of jamming out to the radio, I guess we should spend some more time talking to our kids. Do you believe that there is a problem in the schools right now with bullying? I mean, has anybody experienced any of those issues?
I believe there's a problem, but I don't know how big it is. There's a lot of kids in my son's school that are incredible. My son has autism, and I was so scared that when he first went, they were going to tease him, and it was the exact opposite. They're incredible. But I think most schools we're talking about a minority of kids that are causing a majority of the problem with the bullying.
That's a good point. Bringing up that fact that your child has autism, has he experienced any type of bullying?
There was one or two, but the thing is that the teachers were on top of it, and I'm very grateful for that because they talked to the students, and it was taken care of so quickly that we didn't even realize it had truly happened, Right. So I appreciate that, and I think more teachers need to take it seriously like that. There's some students, when I talk to my kids' friends or neighbors, they say that the teachers kind of blow them off and tell them, no, not right now, or that's how they are. And I think we need to just be the role model and the example and say, we're not going to take it.
Yeah, open communication with the teacher as well as the administration, it helps because they know you, they know who your kids are.
Right. You mentioned that the majority of the kids are good kids, and that's kind of what we're happy to see that, because I guess the message is kind of getting out there that there's more good people than there is bad kids, and if all the good people join together, say enough, and take a stand, as we say on our shirt and our motto, we could actually put an end to it, because there's more people trying to prevent it than there is people trying to cause it. So that's a good point. Have your children? Okay, well, you just told me about have any other any of your? You've been awfully quiet. Have you experienced any bullying with your children?
When my daughter was smaller, we actually had her in a private school, and so I didn't think that there was going to be bullying there, and there was bullying there, and so we did deal with a lot of issues with her when she was smaller, with bullying. Now she's 16, not so much. They have their own group of friends that they hang around with, and there's a huge support group in that. So not so much at 16 that she's being bullied now.
And it's funny because one of the things that we did discover is that, how old was your daughter when she
was anywhere from 5 to about 8 years old.
All right, you see, one of the things that we've kind of discovered is that people don't look at that age group as being bullies. They think it's just kids being kids, and people really don't start addressing the issue till they start becoming teenagers and they start affecting. But in reality, it really starts at that precise age that you just mentioned, and that's why we need parents to get involved from the get-go, all the way from elementary, all the way through even through their career. And you're agreeing? Is that something that you've seen?
I think because of all the awareness and the focus, and even the Anti-Bullying Coalition has brought so much attention to it, that it even opened up my eyes to to make sure that I'm on top of my kids. And because you hear all the horrible things that happen to kids, either to themselves or at the hands of a bully, but it's all because of bullying, and so that it's scary. It's scary. So you want to make sure that your kids are safe, and you have to do your part. So
that's true. So I'm sorry.
That's key, I think. What you said is the parents stepping in, because when it started with her at that age, I stepped in immediately and said, no, we're not going to let this pass or let this slide, or they're just being mean for this one incident. I addressed it and stopped it immediately and went to, whether it's primarily the teacher, and then you go through the chain of command.
Now you're bringing up some really good points, and let me ask you, going back, since your child was so young, did your child come and tell you, hey mom, this is what's happening? Okay.
As Elizabeth said, we talked to her about how was your day, and her reaction and her attitude showed a lot at the end of the day. If she was angry or upset or withdrawn, and she's not normally withdrawn, then that told me something was wrong. And so she would say, they're making fun of me because of this, or they're saying this, and we would address it.
And you absolutely have to respond. If they're telling you something, you have to respond.
Yes.
You can't let it go.
Right, and you know, and unfortunately, in a lot of us are brought up with, oh, stop crying, take it, deal with it, and we can't let our kids bottle it up, because you addressed it right away, but you did see a change in her attitude, and you know, and the emotions going back and forth. So, you know, and you were telling us a really exciting. Actually, you weren't telling us a story. Somebody snitched you out, but that's okay. and you brought up an interesting point. So, I guess apparently you bottled it up. I don't know, but apparently, tell us about. I think you were a bully when you were growing up.
What happened is, when I was younger, I was smaller than most of the kids. I was the nerd, and I got picked on. I got picked on to the point where no matter who I told at the time, they wouldn't do anything about it. My parents would go to the schools, still nothing would get done. And I got so upset and so angry that I stood up for myself, I defended myself, and then I started picking on the kids that were picking on me. So in that aspect, I became the bully. But when I think about it, I know it was wrong, and I tell my kids that they shouldn't do things like that, that it's not right. And actually, in telling my kids what happened to me, they now stick up for kids that are being bullied. They go and stick up for them and tell them, hey, that's not right. So it's a learning experience. It's something that when I talk to other kids and I tell them it's not right, it's not right. And I feel bad, and I don't know what happened to the kids that picked on me and that I picked on afterwards, but I do. It stays with you.
So you've experienced it on both sides of the spectrum, and you did the right thing. I mean, with us as parents, we need to teach our children about the mishaps that we've done or what happened to us, so they don't repeat our mistakes, and that's great.
It's about being honest with our kids on what we experience, because sometimes we don't want them to know what we did or what happened to us, so that they don't get a different image of us. But the thing is, when we share that, they find a connection with us, and it changes things around. And it makes the relationship with your child a lot stronger, in my opinion.
If I can get each one of you to just really quick tell me what you've addressed it all, but it's almost repetitive here. So, what do you think we have to do to put an end to the bullying epidemic?
I think that parents need to see what their kids are doing in school. That some parents like to deny the fact that their kids aren't bullies, and they need to stand up and say, well, you know what, I know my kid could do this. I know that it's possible. I know that my kid could also be the victim. And you need to listen to what they have to say. It's really important. I know every aspect of my child's life. I know what they're doing. And we have that communication where they'll call me and they'll tell me, Mom, you know what, I'm going to be a little bit late, but it's only going to be 5 minutes late, but they're still going to call me and tell me I'm going to be late.
What do you think?
Communication with your child, communication with the school, with the teachers, the administration. Also responding to anything they tell you, because if you don't respond, they won't tell you anymore. So you have to make sure you respond. Obviously, you have to investigate everything they say, but and then also keep yourself informed of the policies of your district. What is considered bullying? What are they supposed to do? What are they required to do? And from there, just work on it.
Well, I think educating people is important. What the sheriff's office is doing, what a bunch of other agencies and organizations, the schools have been doing some incredible jobs in this. But I also think it does start at home. I think we as parents need to be a role model, and we need to not just say what we want them to do, but act upon it as well.
I have to agree with everyone. I believe the communication and the relationship that you have with your child is key in building that confidence in them, so that they aren't so bullied, or they don't stand for it and they don't take it, and they can stand up for themselves and say, no, you know, I know my daughter's, since then, this confidence has been built, so she will go to the teacher or even the principal herself at times.
Well, there you have it. It seems like it's common, and we all agree that the key to helping end bullying is communication. Communication with your child, communication with each other, communication with the school district. And as long as we can get that message out that bullying is not going to be tolerated, we will put an end to it and say enough, and we will all take a stand against bullying.
Bullying to me is when you call me bad words and bad names.
To me, that is disorderly conduct, a Class C misdemeanor punishable by a fine of up to $500.
To me, bullying is when someone retaliates and takes someone else's life because they reported an abuse or an assault to the police.
To me, that is capital murder, an offense punishable by imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for life without parole or death.
Good evening and welcome back to our next segment of Enough. Joining me today is legendary coach Mike Price of the UTEP football team. Coach, thank you for joining us, taking time out of your schedule to address this issue.
It's great to be here.
Well,
this is an important issue.
I'm glad. I'm excited just to be sitting next to you, Coach. Got a couple of questions for you, Coach. You know, as a parent and being around different athletes and children your entire life, were your children ever bullied?
Yeah, you know, I was trying to think about that. I can't remember of an instant where they were. I'm sure they were at school or somewhere on one of the teams that they played on because they were active in sports, and I had 2 boys and a daughter, but I remember being bullied as a kid.
Really?
You know, and I can remember as you grow up, the bullies seem to don't grow up with you. You know, they remain little bullies, and you grow up and get bigger, and you know, payback is tough sometimes, but they're never the ones that make it, and the bullies are, you know, it's kind of like that Back to the Future with that one character that is the bully. He just seems to never make it.
Coach, bullying seems to be, you know, we address it as a young kid's issue. However, I mean, you've taught everything in college, and of course in college, I guess they refer to it more as hazing, stuff like that. I mean, in your legendary career, have you seen those issues, and how did you address them?
Yeah, I think we've addressed it since I've been the head coach wherever I've been real well, because it was something I didn't believe in when I was going through it as a player, you know, and so we're very strict about our hazing. We don't try to run kids off. We don't try to bully anybody. We try to welcome them and keep them in the program and being successful. I think that's the best way to have a good program is for retention and to keep players with you. But it can kind of, you don't have to be young to be a bully. You know, you can see people that own companies that are business people and bully people around. You know, I think, you know, it's one way of dealing with people, and sometimes it works. You know, you scare a person into doing something, but it's not the best way, and certainly positive reinforcement is something that we believe in, but you don't have to be a teenager or a kid to be a bully, unfortunately.
Coach, that's a really good point, Coach, that you bring up, especially with our audience watching right now. I mean, we have young kids, we have parents watching. Being coaching, and like you said, your kids were athletes and stuff. How do you deal with the parent that gets out of control at these games, that becomes the bully?
Well, I think one of the things that's helped me in my coaching profession is that I was a parent, you know, of my kids, and I felt that same feeling that parents can feel, like, why isn't my kid playing? Why isn't my son or daughter getting a chance? You know, and it's so it helps me to reflect back on there, and I can understand that when I have those things with I see coaches now, and my grandkids, I see coaches, and for the most part, 99% of the coaches that are in Little League and that are doing a great job. I mean, they take a lot of time out of their day to coach kids. But every now and then, it's that one guy that I guess maybe has bullied his way through his life that is still remains a bully. And, you know, no one likes you, and stop it. It's not good for anybody.
Coach, bringing that up, you know, I know when I was younger, and I'm sure when you were younger, it was always referred to as, kids just being kids.
Yeah.
Have you seen it go from its height coming down, or are you seeing?
Well, I think in my sport particular, because it's a physical sport, football is a physical contact sport where you are knocking guys over, and you know, we can get cheered for doing something out here in front of 50,000 people, and then in the parking lot a half an hour later, if you did that, you'd get arrested.
Right.
But so it's a different, unique sport. And but I think the thing that we forget to emphasize now is sportsmanship, and sportsmanship. There's no place for bullies in sportsmanship. As a coach, as a player, as an opponent, you know. And I think sometimes in television and some of the pro sports, they kind of encourage that, standing over and taunting. It's against the rules. We have specific rules, NC2A rules in college football, where we don't allow bullying, we don't allow taunting, we don't allow intimidation. And almost to the point where if you just really stand over a guy now after making a good hit, it's a penalty. So we're doing our share. We call it sportsmanship, but in a way, it's really to stop some bullying in our sport. So I would encourage anybody that sees bullying or is involved with a bully, you know, if you don't feel like standing up right there at that minute, then talk to somebody else. Call me. Call the deputy here. You know, call your mom, your dad, a friend, and let them know what's going on. So, and that's why I encourage that. I encourage people standing up, but you can stand up for yourself without trying to knock the guy down, but you can also stand up by going to a reliable source and talking about the problem with them.
You know, Coach, I'm glad to hear you say that, and if you could also address that. A lot of kids that we talk to, they say, well, if I go tell, I'm a tattletale, or I'm a snitch. There's no, that doesn't exist,
no,
right,
that
Coach?
doesn't,
that doesn't mean
that. You know, you're doing the right thing, and the more that you do this, the more that we can help you and help other people, and be the kind of people we want to be the kind of people your parents want you to be.
Well, Coach, it's been a pleasure sitting here talking to you.
You too.
And you know, thank you for helping us take a stand, and yourself and the UTEP miners taking a stand and saying enough to bullying, and hopefully we'll put an end to it here in El Paso County. And once again, thank you, Coach.
Okay, thanks.
After this short break, we'll be returning back with the future of football. Joining me is local athlete Jack Fields.
Bullying to me is when someone threatens me over the phone or computer.
To me, that's harassment, a Class B misdemeanor, and/or a fine not to exceed $2,000.
To me, bullying is when someone threatens me if I tell on them.
To me, that's retaliation, a third-degree felony punishable by imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice from 2 to 10 years and/or a fine not to exceed $10,000.
Welcome back, and in keeping with the theme, I'm out here at Sunbowl Stadium at the UTEP campus. Joining me today is All-State, All-City running back from America's High School and soon-to-be Boise State running back Jack Fields. Jack, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us out here. It's my pleasure to be out here with you. Hey, Jack, yes, as you know, you're a high school student, you're a senior this year, getting ready to go to college. Do me a favor, define bullying for me. What is bullying to you in your own words?
Bullying to me is whenever you're using your influence or using your size or anything to intimidate somebody, and you just do it repeatedly and you make them feel less than a person.
Jack, through your years of playing football, I mean, did you ever see any signs of bullying, you know, whether it be your little league all the way up to high school? Did you see signs of bullying, and what did you think? I mean, what did you do about it?
Yes, sir. I've seen bullying in high school on our team, you know, where we had some upperclassmen. They might give freshmen a hard time. And the way that I would deal with it, I would just remind them that we're all a family, that we're all just continuing and trying to get better as athletes and also as people. So I just try to tell them to remain positive and just help each other out.
You know, Jack, I've gotten to spend some time with you, and I'm very impressed. And of course, this goes back to the message that we're always trying to tell our parents, that we're saying, you know, it starts at home. I mean, your parents have done an awesome job with you. I mean, you're one of the most respectful people I've ever met in my life. And you know, what kind of message can you relate to the parents that are out there watching us as to how your parents helped get you to where you're at now?
My parents, they just always taught me to remain humble, no matter what type of success that you attain. Just always be positive, help others, and always give back to your community. And that's one thing that I always want to do. And that's why I just wanted to get involved with this anti-bullying. Is no matter what you accomplish, always remain positive and help others out, and never make anybody feel less than what they are.
You know, one of the things that I'd like to point out is Jack Fields is a big guy. He's a solid guy. He's a running back, plays football, ran for over 2,500 yards, 25 touchdowns. I mean, this guy is amazing. And if you haven't had the pleasure of meeting him, he's the most down-to-earth kid I've ever met in my life. So it just goes to show, Jack, that just because you are successful. I mean, you're a big guy. You're not a bully. There's no reason to be a bully, right? I mean, it's about enjoying life, having fun, and just going on with your accomplishments, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Cool. Jack, do me a favor. What kind of advice would you have for the kids that are watching out right now, if they're being bullied, or even for those that are bullies themselves? What kind of advice do you have for them?
For kids that are out there being bullied, never let someone define who you are and tell you what you can and cannot do. Always work hard in school, be a good son or daughter, and just continue to be positive. And if you are bullying, don't take out your frustrations or things that may be going on in your life and impose them on others. So just continue to work hard and just be positive about everything that's going on, because things will get better.
Jack, again, thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
And there you have it, guys. Remember to keep an eye next coming football season for Jack Fields on Boise State. Congratulations and good luck.
Yes, sir. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Bullying to me is when you call me bad words and bad names.
To me, that is disorderly conduct, a Class C misdemeanor punishable by a fine of up to $500.
To me, bullying is when someone retaliates and takes someone else's life because they reported an abuse or an assault to the police.
To me, that is capital murder, an offense punishable by imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for life without parole or death.
I'd like to ask everybody to please visit us at our website. That's www.epcabc.com, where you can find information on upcoming shows, information on upcoming events sponsored by the Sheriff's Office and the Coalition taking place around the community. We also ask that if you have any information or viewpoints or any ideas on how we can make this show better, please drop us a line at our email address at epcabc.com. Once again, on behalf of the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, I'm Chief Deputy Jesus Eduardo Campa with the Sheriff's Office, and we thank you for watching.